Here's a statement that would have been unthinkable at any time from the end of World War II until Donald Trump. The German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, said today, quote, "I am a great admirer of America. My admiration isn't growing at the moment, so I wouldn't recommend to my children today that they go to the U.S., get an education there, and work there, simply because of a social climate that has suddenly developed there," end quote. Just last month, Chancellor Merz says Donald Trump was being humiliated by Iran in negotiations about an end to Trump's war. Germany, of course, unconditionally surrendered to the United States, ending World War II, and it was America that showed an act of mercy and remarkable economic prowess in the Marshall Plan to help the country that waged war on democracy to rebuild. Germany was where an American president stood at the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin in 1963 when the German people were being split in half by communism and said, "I am a Berliner." And in 1987, when an American president shouted, "Tear down this wall," and not that long afterward, they did. And where in 2008, 200,000 people flooded the streets to see the future president, Barack Obama, speak about freedom and partnership. And now we have come to this. The German chancellor warns his kids away from looking to America. Chrystia Freeland, the former Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, is back with us. Chrystia, between two fellow Canadians, this is so weird, right? Because we both grew up with America as our biggest neighbor and most important partner, a country to which we looked to, we vacationed in. You and I both worked parts of our careers in the United States. It's so strange to have a break with one of your closest allies.
It's strange and it's dangerous. It's dangerous for America's allies and it's dangerous for America itself. You know, Ali, you are absolutely right to highlight those comments from Friedrich Merz. They're even more shocking than you made them sound, because Merz is probably the most pro-American leader in Europe. He used to work for BlackRock. He is a conservative. He was the head of an organization called Atlantische Brücke, which means Atlantic Bridge, the bridge between Germany and North America. In 2018, he actually, as head of that organization, gave me an award for furthering transatlantic relations because Canada did a trade deal with Europe. So he has devoted so much of his life to building that transatlantic relationship. It's one of the main things he stands for. And to have him say, "I don't think America is a place for my kids anymore," that is huge.
Let's talk a little about, a lot of people don't know this, but Canada is home to the largest diaspora of Ukrainians for a lot of very interesting reasons that go back to the 1930s. You're one of them. You are a member of that diaspora. You have fought for freedom and democracy in Ukraine for a long time, and for that you have you're not welcome in Russia. Russia has upped its attacks on Ukraine this week. There have been some brutal attacks over the last few days, thousands of drones and missiles. Where are we in this war?
Well, Ali, this has been a pretty grim time, and you've talked about some worrying things so far in your show. So I'm going to offer a little bit of good news. Against all odds and contradicting the predictions of experts from the very beginning, experts said that Kyiv was going to fall in 3 weeks. Ukraine is actually holding Russia to a stalemate. It may even be winning. And it is doing that because the Ukrainians have invented an entirely new way of war. They have invented drone warfare. You see the Gulf states actually turning to Ukraine to help defend themselves from Iran. And Ukrainians are building their own drones. They are building their own ballistic missiles. They are now capable of striking 1,500 kilometers into Russia. And they call these missile attacks our own sanction program. Because with those Ukrainian deep strike attacks, Ukraine has either damaged or destroyed up to 40% of Russia's oil refining capacity. That is an example to me of democracy working. And I think that we should all be really inspired by what Ukraine is doing. And we should recognize that Ukraine, it's not just a charity case. Ukraine is a powerful ally that can help defend Europe and indeed is today defending Europe.
Christian, can I ask you, day 76, I think it is, of this war in Iran? Wars tend to get unpopular over time. Rarely do they start this unpopular. It is quite likely this is an illegal war because in the first 60 days, the president needed to ask Congress. Congress does not apparently care that the president didn't ask, so it's not been granted. The president doesn't have war powers. Sometimes he calls it a war, sometimes he doesn't call it a war. But something is happening in Iran that feels like a war, and the Strait of Hormuz is closed. What's your sense of how this ends?
Well, I'll tell you what is happening right now, which is this is pummeling regular Americans. Gas prices are high and they're going to get higher. This is hitting food prices. Something that not a lot of people talk about is that fertilizer is really being hit, and that is going to increase the price of food around the world. It is hitting aluminum. If you are a person who likes a beer or likes a can of pop, that is going to be getting more expensive because of this war.
Is there a way out of this? I mean, it doesn't seem obvious. Donald Trump keeps claiming victory, which creates a problem because it doesn't actually get us to victory or even a ceasefire or a peace deal.
Well, you know what is really perverse, Ali, is this war may actually end up leaving Iran and the Ayatollahs, who are terrible, who massacred their own people in the weeks before this war. They may end up in a stronger position than before the war began. It is entirely possible that Iran and its nuclear program will be stronger after this war than they were before. And as you have pointed out, Iran has discovered a whole new weapon, and that is control over the Straits of Hormuz.
Which remain closed. I wonder whether when Donald Trump declares victory there, it'll be because these straits, which were not closed 76 days ago, will be reopened. Christia, good to see you as always. Thank you for being with us. Christopher Freeland is the former Deputy Prime Minister of Canada.